Over a month ago, I promised a video where we would talk about Star Wars and Star Wars fighters and make a tier list out of them and blah, blah, blah. Well, today we're actually going to be doing that. For this tier list, we're going to be adding a couple of extra things in here. We're going to be adding an unknown category because there are a lot of ships in here that are just kind of unknown. I've never even heard of some of these vessels before. So we got to make sure we have a category for them just to kind of make it fair. We're mostly going to be basing this off of appearance and armament. We want to make sure we keep this as balanced and as fair as humanly possible. That's the goal. We're gonna make an F tier category, and then we're gonna make an unknown category. We're starting off with the Toskin Starfighter, which doesn't have a lot of screen time in most media. I think it actually looks really cool for the most part. But I'm pretty certain if we're talking armament, shields, weapons, this thing is actually pretty terrible. So we're just throwing it in the C tier. It's not an F tier. I like the way it looks. We'll throw it in C. A-Wing is pretty much an instant A or S tier. It's a godly fighter. Honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that I had weak armor and shields, I think it'd literally be the most powerful starfighter we've ever had. But I love the sleek appearance of it. I love the way the ship just looks, moves, the color scheme, all of that. One of my favorite starfighters of all time. I'm a little bit biased here, but I'm also going to put the ARC 170 Starfighter in S tier. I think this fighter is heavily underrepresented in most Star Wars media. One of the coolest starfighters we've ever had, and quote unquote the predecessor to the X-Wing, so to speak. But it's big, it's bulky, it can sit 3 people. It has a rear turret, 2 heavy laser cannons, proton torpedo launchers. It's literally a heavy fighter, for a lack of better words. B-Wing. I don't really, the B-Wing's design is kind of whatever, but this thing can carry so many explosives, it's not even fair. I use these in Awaken the Rebellion all the time, for the most part. The amount of damage you can do to a Star Destroyer is just, well, frankly, fucking ridiculous. B-Wing is pretty much an insta S tier. I'm putting Grievous the Starfighter in F, never liked it. It's just kind of ugly. If we're gonna keep it a $150 here, it's kind of ugly. I don't know what this is. It looks cool, but I don't know what it is. Looks like we got another ARC 170. I'm gonna put this in the unknown tab because we've already done it up here. Also, I don't know why it keeps jumping like that. The Chiss Clawcraft. Not a big fan of its appearance. I don't think it has enough weapons for me to put it in an A category. It's a pretty cool ship. I'll put it here. Okay, let me flip that around. The appearance isn't terrible, but the armaments are pretty weak, so I don't think that's enough to push it into an A or a B tier. I'm also going to do that with the Jedi Starfighter. Now, I absolutely love the appearance of this ship, but it doesn't have nearly enough in the weapons category to push it into an A tier class ship. E-Wing, definitely an A tier ship, not an S tier because it had so many production issues when it was being created. Definitely an A tier ship though. Cool design, very strange design with the whole 3 laser system with one being above the cockpit. Kind of a interesting ship design overall, but I still like it. The other Jedi Starfighter, I'm actually gonna put that a tier lower. I absolutely hate the way this thing looks, honestly. It looks way too exposed. It doesn't look like it has really too much going for it. Not a big fan of this ship. Asajj Ventress's ship. Some people I've seen put this in amazing. I'm also going to put it in C. Not a big fan of the appearance. Doesn't really have much weapon-wise going for it. Yeah. I'm going to put this in unknown. Don't know what this ship is. Now we've got the Howl Runner from the Imperial Remnant. I have a soft spot for this grasshopper bug-looking motherfucker. We'll put it in a B tier. It's not terrible. It's not great. It's kind of an interesting middle ground kind of ship. We'll toss that one in the B category. Probably looking at this like, what? You're putting Asajj Ventress's ship down here? You know what? I'll go a tab lower and throw it in D. We've got the Hyena Bomber. I actually don't really know too much about the ship, but I know it carries a decent number of weapons. I'll throw it in B. Never been a big fan of the Vulture droid kind of design. I think it looks cool, kind of, but you know, it's nothing crazy. The K-Wing. Do I even really need to? The K-Wing has a really sick design, honestly, in my opinion, and it carries. It never runs out of ammo. This thing has so many rockets, dude. What is this? The Mandalorian transport? Put it in C. I think the design philosophy of it is unique, but overcomplicated, maybe? I'm gonna throw it a C. C just feels right for me. The Talon class Starfighter from the Old Republic. Didn't have much weapon-wise going for it, but it looks really damn cool. Easily, I think is properly in a B tier. The only thing holding it back from an A or even an S is just the overall equipment of the ship. I don't remember it having too much going for it weapon-wise. The Naboo Starfighter. It does not have much weapon-wise going for it, but its design philosophy is so damn cool. It's carrying this ship. I'm kind of willing to let this one slip up here for the design alone. Like, I love the Talon's design, but I don't think it's enough to make it godly. But the Naboo Starfighter just looks damn cool, man. Geonosian Starfighter is just ugly. The Raven Bomber, I'm gonna also put it in B. I actually don't fully remember the armament of this ship. Could easily be a tier Starfighter if I just remember the damn weapons on the thing. But we'll leave it right there. I love the R41 Star Chaser, but if we're talking like shields, armament, etc., this thing is it's like throwing a toaster in a bathtub, basically. It's gonna die. It's not a very good ship fundamentally. The Y-Wing, it's slow as dirt and arguably my favorite starfighter in the world, but I think the speed and the movement of the ship kind of holds it back a bit. I will leave it an A, but it's my favorite starfighter of all time, and I'm not even kidding about that. Over the X-Wing even. Just a very robust starfighter, carries a lot of weapons, looks cool, has a lot of armor, so to speak. It's a sick design. I also throw the Clone Wars version up there as well. I always did kind of like this design, honestly. I've always kind of enjoyed this design of the ships somewhat. It looks more like a militaristic version of the ship, something you would see in a clone army. The Scimitar Assault Bomber, there's not a good image over here, but this thing carries so many damn missiles in Empire War Remake, it's literally unfair. And I kind of like the design. It's a unique take on the whole TIE philosophy. Darth Maul Sith ship, meh. The Sith Starfighter from the Old Republic, same reason. All three of these ships look absolutely incredible, but their armament is very lackluster, so to speak. But I think this is one of the sickest designs of the whole Sith Starfighter, TIE Fighter kind of thing. I always thought this looked cool. I'm gonna put the Skip Ray Blast Bow in S tier, honestly. This thing has so many weapons, and I honestly really like the unique design that it kind of goes for. It's more of a gunship really than it is a damn bomber or a fighter, and it really truly shouldn't probably be in this category. Same with Darth Maul's little thing right here. This is, I don't know what you would classify this as. That's just like this is straight up just a transport, really. But I've always had a soft spot for the Skip Ray. Actually no, it probably should be in B with the Y-Wing because they both fundamentally do the same thing almost, but they're, I think, held back a little bit by speed. I don't remember what the speed is of the Skip Ray. But easily, these two could definitely be an S tier category if it wasn't for like one thing, maybe holding them back. We've already had the Talon pop up, or the Raven, so we'll just throw this down here. The Star Viper. I remember this thing being on X-Wing levels of power, almost. That's definitely going to go in an A tier. Cool design, cool S-foil mechanic, honestly. Carries a solid armament for its size, if I recall. Proton torpedoes and the like. I don't think this and this carried that. We might have to throw the Raven in A, actually. All right, yeah, I think this is fair. I think this is fair. We'll throw the Raven in A. Thing has a lot of weapons. I know it has a lot of weapons. I just don't remember what the weapons are, but that could be an A tier unit. If the Starfighter could be here, this could definitely be here. What is this? The bomber from Thrawn's Revenge? Since that's just a Phantom design, we'll just leave that there. These are two in the same thing right here. I think. Yeah, these are two of the same X-Wing. All right, we'll treat this as the OG X-Wing. If it's the OG X-Wing, S tier, no questions asked. Don't even need to debate it. The T75, I actually literally don't know a single thing about the ship. I just never really care for it. I couldn't tell you a single thing about it. T-Wing is about as C, maybe even D tier as it gets. malfunctioning issues with its, I think, weapons and engines. It was just a cheap ship overall. It just didn't do anything really right like I was supposed to do. That's pretty much a D tier ship. I give it C because I like the design of it. Yeah, I'll give it a C. It definitely doesn't look as bad as these two ships do, but it's not a great ship at all. This is the... This isn't the TIE Interceptor. It's like the TIE Avenger. That's more of a fan of design. I couldn't really tell you much on that. Also don't know what this is. Hyena Bomber. It looks holding back. It's a godly ship with all the weapons it can carry, but it looks holding back for me. Kind of ugly. I don't know what this is. It's literally just a TIE Defender with its foils flipped upside down. That's just kind of dumb. The TIE Defender. Do I even have to literally debate this one? It's the TIE Defender. It's got everything. It's got ion cannons, proton torpedoes, concussion missiles, a hyperdrive, shield generator. It's literally the best starfighter to ever be produced. The TIE Droid, I put it in B. It doesn't have much weapon-wise going for it, but it looks kind of cool. I forgot what this is called, but it's always been ugly as hell to me. TIE Interceptor is on the same category, at least in my opinion, as an A-Wing. It has a really slick design. It's fast as all be damned. And it's got a decent number of laser cannons. I think some configurations could also carry concussion missiles. But in terms of armament, while its weapons may not be the most powerful in the world, its speed is what makes it an S-tier unit. Like I said, in the case of the Y-Wing, speed is also, in my opinion, considered an armament as well in this category. It's the only thing holding the Y-Wing back, and the TIE Bomber, which is about as slow as a Y-Wing, is just ugly. So that's getting a B for me. But the TIE Interceptor, basically the same as the A-Wing. Not the most powerful armament, but faster than literally anything in this list pretty much. The OG TIE Fighter. I'm gonna give it a, if I had like an A-. In terms of looks, it's kind of whatever, but in terms of armament, it's lacking a little bit on the armament. It's decently fast, but it's a death trap. It's literally a coffin. You get shot once while flying this thing, you're probably gonna die. I don't think that's really worth an S tier category. Way too many pilots die flying this thing. The TIE Phantom. I don't know enough about it to know its true armament, but I know it can go invisible. Actually, that actually might make it an A tier unit. Actually, this might be an S tier unit. It can cloak and it has a hyperdrive. That's literally kind of broken. What is this? The TIE. This is TIE Raptor, not TIE Raptor. This is the TIE Raptor. Oh man, I forgot what this TIE Fighter is called. Okay, after doing some digging on my handy dandy Google searcher, this is the TIE Predator. I remember what the armament of this was. It had a hyperdrive, I think proton torpedoes, regular laser cannons, and an S-foil mechanic for a weird looking TIE fighter. It's kind of godly. It's really damn good, honestly. The TIE Raptor. It just looks like me when I was like 5 or 7, fat with the short arms. That's just, no. The TIE Scout, I mean, it's a scout ship. That probably gets a D for me. That's what's his face, a Starfighter. I don't care about that. I don't know what this is at all. I've never seen this little bug looking thing before. I can't even make out the design of this. So I don't know what the hell this category is. We're putting this down here. V19 Torrent Fighter, that's a D tier. This thing is awful. It literally is a death trap. The S-foil mechanic is weird. The S-foils are placed in terrible spots. I've seen either the S-foils get shot off of starfighters, or when they're flying through something, they just get clipped. This starfighter sucks. V-Wing, I'm putting this in A just because the look is so damn cool. That's pretty much all it's got going. So it's fast, it's nimble, it's not better than the TIE Interceptor or the A-Wing. But the look of it and the speed of it kind of carry it. It has an astromech droid, which is pretty unique. Overall, it's just got a really small profile, really tiny fighter. It's swarm capable like the TIE Fighter and the TIE Interceptor. I don't remember if it has shields or not. Definitely doesn't have a hyperdrive either. This is Vader's TIE Fighter. This thing is actually kind of insane. It's got hyperdrive, it's got shields, it's got proton torpedoes, laser cannons. It's basically an X-Wing, pretty much. What is this, a droid fighter? I'm putting that in C. Never been a big fan of it. The Hyena only gets carried by its armor, pretty much. In the Z95, I have to put it in C, because it still was never able to really be better than pretty much anything above it for the most part. Except maybe the Jedi Starfighter. I mean, there's so many different configurations of this unit, it's kind of hard to really justify whether it's like C, B, A, S. Definitely not A and S. It's a very modular fighter. You could put pretty much anything in it, but its speed might suffer depending on the armament. Historically, it's just never had a good reputation as being a good starfighter. It's pretty much good if you just want to own a ship and you're not involved in like a war. But overall, I mean, it's not the world's best fighter. So that's my starfighter tier list. I think it's pretty fair for the most part. If there are any changes I would make, again, if I had like an A- category, I might move a couple of the units from B, like the TIE fighter, to the A- category. I could have made one, but I wanted to make a more linear list for the most part. Not leave too many spots like A-, B-, you know, that's just a little too much. But I think it's a fair list for the most part. Let me know what your thoughts are about this list in the comment section down below. And if you have your own list, feel free to share it. I'll leave a link to the tier maker in the description below. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. May the force be with you all. Peace.